Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. My name is Nathan from Minneapolis Running and from the Oregon Brew Running Series. I'm kind of wearing two hats here today. I'm with Sarah Bowen Shea from Another Mother Runner, and we will get into that here in a little bit once we make sure that we are live. We are in beautiful Portland, Oregon. It was just moments ago, it was pouring rain. It was cold and kind of gross out, but the sun is coming out, and in true Portland fashion, it will probably stay this way for a little bit.
It'll probably rain again.
And then go away. Yes, it'll probably rain again very, very soon.
Yep.
But we were chatting here today. We're at Migration Brewing, which is a great little microbrewery, craft brewery here in Portland, Oregon, at Gleason and 28th. They make some amazing beers. This is called Stalling.
That's okay.
And we are so, there we are. All right, we are good here. We're so thankful to them, for one, to let us use this space. But I am really excited, Sarah, to talk with you. Fun little backstory. So Charlie from Twin Cities in Motion, the good folks that organized the Medtronic Twin Cities Marathon, reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to interview Sarah Bowen Shea from Another Mother Runner? And full disclosure, I've heard of your website, but I wasn't a follower. I'm not a mother.
I noticed that.
But yes, it's hopefully obvious. But I love what you guys are doing. Since then, I've been listening to your podcast and following along. I'm on your email list now. And
look at you. Yeah,
I think what's fun is that it's, obviously you're catering to women and mothers. But I was listening recently to your podcast on strength training, and I was driving. I was like, I need to take notes for this. I need to lay down on the floor and do the glute test, and so it's applicable to mothers and fathers and
people with fur babies.
Yes, fur babies, dogs and cats, and I know that's part of your base as well. So, but I'm excited to chat with you today. We're going to be talking about the website, and I don't even know if website's the right word. It's really a community of people.
It is. You've hit the right word. Community.
Yeah, it's a community. It's a tribe. You've got a website, which includes a blog. You've got a podcast. Very active social media presence. I can already see there's lots of people following. So I also should mention that if you guys have questions about for Sarah, or I guess for me, but you don't really want to hear me, feel free to ask them here, and we will do our best. I will do my best. And
I'm new at this, so we've done a couple of Facebook Lives, but never one where I could actually see what was going on. Okay. So I don't know if I
were you able to find?
So I found our page. Let's see if I can find it. I don't know. My goodness.
Let's see here.
Would it be under video?
It should be. Let's see.
Here, you want to look at my phone?
Why not? Actually, I think what you might need to do here. Excuse us 1 second. I promise we will.
And please note, everyone, we are in a brewery, but we are drinking water. It's a little early.
We thought it. Yeah, it might be. It's 10 o'clock here on the West Coast. We thought it might be a little bit bad form. Here we go. All right. So if you just share, that's our page. If you just hit the share button, and you can share it either to your personal page or the Another Mother Runner page.
Yep. And we have a lot of Mother Runner fans in the Twin Cities, and I want to give a shout out to Joe, who is watching with you.
Oh,
yes.
Hello, Joe.
Yes.
Yeah. When I posted on Minneapolis Running, there's a lot of folks that said that they were excited to chat with you and ask you anything. So this will be fun. You may need to turn that down a little bit, because otherwise we're in the Spaceballs moment of the future and the past, and kind of that weird space-time continuum thing that doesn't quite make sense. So, all right. So Sarah, you are a writer. You're an author, 3-time published author. Do you have more?
4
than
times,
that? 4
in case you count the essential breastfeeding log.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe you missed that.
I think I missed that. It might be on my short list of books to read. I'm not sure. We were just talking about, we have 2 small twins at home, and so breastfeeding is a huge part of, I'm not doing it, but it's a big part of my life right now.
Sure, yeah.
But you are a journalist by trade, correct? Is that
I am. Okay. That was the hat I wore for many years. Okay. I used to work in magazines, also regional publication. I worked for a magazine called City Sports, which covered participatory sports in California, because I lived in San Francisco.
Okay. What are participatory sports?
Versus spectator sports.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, learn a new phrase. Yeah,
yeah, that's good. Write that down.
Right, take more notes. Take more notes, Nathan.
So I'm learning breastfeeding and participatory sports.
Yeah, and glute tests and everything.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
So skiing, running, cycling at the time, inline skating, tennis, hiking, things like that.
Very cool.
So that's where I fell into writing about sports and fitness and gear.
Gotcha.
I was a big gear head for a long time.
Okay.
So I worked at a magazine called Walking, which is no longer in business.
Walking, okay.
Walking. It's like Runner's World, but for walkers.
Okay,
a little bit
makes
slower.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was the athletic footwear editor for Shea magazine for probably close to 2 decades.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I got to know actually a lot of women in Portland because of that, because I needed a lot of shoe testers.
Oh,
so when I go to a lot of races, people are like, Sarah, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, Monica, I haven't seen you in years since you picked up.
Here's some shoes.
Right,
how do they fit?
I still get sometimes like, oh, I love that pair you gave me. I still have them. I'm like, okay, you need to retire those.
It's like, here, have these new ones. Do you have a favorite shoe, or are you kind of a multi-brand runner?
I'm trying to expand my repertoire, but I'm a longtime Saucony runner. I'm excited. I'm going to try Hoka.
Kinvara?
No, I am a guide girl.
Okay.
I have a slight overpronation. But I'm going to try the Hoka 1-1s. I'm excited to try those.
Yes, those are very popular. Yeah.
Yes, particularly among Masters runners, as might shock you, but I fall into that category.
You're not a Masters. What?
I know.
Okay.
So
just recently, I'm sure.
Right. So I'm excited to try those. I was just at the Eugene Marathon for
great race.
Yeah, the expo, and gosh, I was shocked by the number of people wearing Hoka 1-1s.
Yeah, it's a couple of my buddies who are not Masters runners love the Hoka 1-1s, and they swear by them. So
yeah.
Don't think of Master shoes. Just think of them as the cool trail runner.
Okay.
You might have to grow a big beard or something. I don't know.
Oh, I'm working on it.
I don't know.
I'm working on it. Yeah. It's Portland. I can carry it off.
Exactly. Yeah. Anything goes in Portland. Yeah. Well, you're also a 13-time marathoner.
I am.
And a mother yourself, mother of 3. And I should say, since we're recording this right after Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you very much.
Did you do anything? Did your family do anything fun for you, or
no?
Let you go on a nice long run.
I went on a run, and said, my running partner and I said Happy Mother's Day to every woman we saw with a stroller or a small child.
Lovely.
And no, my family couldn't even be bothered to actually hand me the cards that they gave me. They just left them lying around. So I actually haven't opened 2 of them. I'm being very passive aggressive.
Okay.
Which,
maybe it's some sign of like, why isn't Mom opening this stuff? Maybe it's outsmarting each other.
No, and Daphne, my girl twin, she just kind of tossed it on the table and ran out of the room. So, but she's really into art, and so really beautiful art and wonderful message. So, I put it up in my closet to be able to look at it. Yeah. And I made dinner though, so nothing special.
Oh, you made dinner. Okay. Well,
yeah.
That's, at least maybe you made something that you like.
I like, exactly. Yeah, that's the key, because my son wanted to cook, and I'm like, no, I'm really keen on having something tasty tonight. So
that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
I'm a little distracted because we're getting a bunch of comments here.
Oh my goodness.
Mostly just saying hello and. No, Lisa, this is not Dangerous Man.
Yes.
Brewing. We are in Portland, Oregon.
And Petra. Petra lives in Great Britain, and she is coming to Portland, though.
Okay.
And so I'm going to get to run with her next week. I'm very excited. So, hi, Petra.
It's like the middle of the night there? Very late. I'm not sure what time is there.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah, I'm wondering if you can take me back.
Okay.
And I know that you have a history in rowing. Correct?
You really did a deep dive, Nathan. I am really impressed.
I'm trying to NPR this thing and really, do my research here. But I'm wondering if you can tell me how you became a runner.
Okay, so, and for the record, Dimity's also the co-founder, my business partner.
Thank you, Dimity McDowell, yeah.
Yes, very good. So we were both rowers, and that's actually how we connected. We were both rowers at Colgate University, which was in upstate New York, central New York. And so I'm a little older than she is, and so we met at a Colgate rowing.
Did she rub
that in? Not too often.
Okay.
No. I was at a Colgate rowing reunion event. And Dimity she was a senior, and she stood up and read a poem that she had written, kind of an ode to Colgate rowing. So she stood out in my mind, partly because of the poem, partly because she's a little over 6'3".
Right. I was just going to say, she's pretty tall.
Yeah. So I'm the short one at 5'11".
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
We all have our burdens to bear.
Right. But to your question, so I was not an athlete before I got to college.
Okay.
I did a little running, but really not much. And then went to Colgate, which is there's not a whole lot going on around there. And so I took up rowing as something to do. And my dad had been a rower in college, and so sort of had it in the genes. And so I just fell in love with it, and you run for cross-training for rowing.
Sure.
So, and Colgate's, when it's not snowy or incredibly overcast, it makes Portland look like a sunny climate.
Interesting.
It's a lovely place to run.
Okay.
And also because it was a club sport at the time, I was very intent on making the first boat. Okay. And so I then, during the summer, between freshman and sophomore year, I would go running to improve my fitness. And there's this one hill, real beast of a hill. My parents live in Connecticut, very hilly around there. And I would tell myself that if I could run fast all the way up it, that I would make the first boat. And I did make the first boat.
Wow, awesome.
So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. And I can't run up that hill now without thinking about that.
Yeah, there's some things like that where, like different parts in Portland or the Twin Cities where I'll run a route, and I had some epiphany on that route or some.
Oh, sure.
I was always reminded of what I was thinking about years before.
Oh, exactly.
That one spot. So.
Oh, definitely. I definitely feel that way. Yeah, there were these hills. When I graduated college, I lived in San Francisco, and I lived in a very, very hilly part of San Francisco, which is saying quite a bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, are there flat parts of San Francisco?
Right, the marina. And so, I lived on Potrero Hill, and so I would run back and forth on the streets, and it was just, the hills were so steep that the cars parked perpendicular to the curb. And a friend of mine, when we went into a video store, this is how long ago it was, and we parked the car perpendicular, and she goes, well, isn't the car going to roll over while we're in there? And I'm like, no, the car's not going to roll over while we're in there.
The car will be fine.
So those are other hills that bring back a lot of memories. Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
So then was there a moment where you did it initially just to, a lot of people do running, they take up running for something else,
Sure.
Was there a moment where you sort of transitioned and said, I'm no longer a rower, now I'm a runner? Or are you still a rower and a runner?
No, that's intriguing that you asked that. It took me a long time to admit that I was a runner first and a rower second.
Right.
And even though, so I didn't, I took up other things after I graduated college. I had I was in editorial, so I had a very low-paying job. Sure. And as you can relate to. And so, I taught myself how to swim at like age 23 or something.
Wow.
And I should rectify. I knew how to swim, sort of, but I wouldn't put my face in the water, so I taught myself how to alternate breathe. Did
you know how to swim, or did you know how not to drown before?
I knew enough. I could do the crawl stroke somewhat. Okay. But I swam with my face out of water, and I turned my head every single stroke.
Okay.
So but I wasn't even rowing then. But then I've taken up rowing twice as a master's athlete, and for rowing, for the record, you only have to be over 27 to be a master's athlete.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah, it's a young person's sport.
Yes. But when I guess I trained for the marathon that I PR'd in 2009, and I was rowing then and running. And that's when I finally, though, realized, I think running comes first on my resume and rowing second. Okay. And now I haven't rowed with any regularity since 2009, so I'm definitely... I think... So to answer your question, long answer, okay. 8 years.
Okay, 8 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever been down to the Willamette and done the dragon boat? That's not rowing, I guess.
That's not rowing, but that's paddling. But that's okay.
It's a water in a boat, right?
Right. You have an oar in your hand, a paddle. Yeah. I did it once. Okay. And with dragon boating, which for people who don't know is a huge sport out here and in a lot of parts, different pockets of the U.S., but largely it's a Japanese sport, right? Right. And very heavy, big boats that you don't take in and out of the water, and you don't have a moving seat, and you face forward. Oh, that's a big distinction.
Okay. Right. Rowing, you don't know where you're going.
Rowing, you're going backwards, and your seat moves, so it's a full body exercise.
Yes.
So I found dragon boating disconcerting because it was only the upper body, and you sort of couldn't, even though you're facing forward, you couldn't really see where you were going because it's a lot of bending at the waist. Okay. So Yeah, it wasn't for me.
Interesting.
But I could.
Do you row out somewhere else out here? Like, is there a?
I have done. I mean, so there's rowing. There's masters rowing down on the Willamette.
Oh, there is
for sure, and at Lake Oswego and further up the Willamette,
That's right.
up closer to the Columbia. But it just, gosh, it was really early. I mean, you have to be down there by 5 a.m. and running it.
What time do you go running though?
6 a.m.
Oh,
that's a big difference.
It's a huge difference.
To get up before 5 a.m. blows your whole day.
It's kind of your whole week, and sometimes.
As a father of 11-month-old twins, you can attest to that.
Absolutely.
So, and to be quite honest, it wasn't. You spend a lot of time doing it, but to me, it wasn't as an efficient and concise of a workout as running is.
Right.
You know, I head out my door to go running, and an hour later, I've been running for the entire hour.
And you're back home.
Yeah, and you're back home. Whereas with rowing, I had to, I would ride my bike there, and then you got to dither around with getting the boat down there and setting your feet and everything, and you're gone for like 2.5 hours, and you basically exercise for about 55 minutes.
It's not very efficient.
No. So I need a more, So, but I have thought about.
Concise.
I've thought about going back to it. I got to went down to San Francisco where I lived off and on for 8 years, and I rowed there, and so I got to go out with my old rowing team there, which was a thrill.
Yeah.
It was just I literally, while it was happening, I thought, this is not a dream. This is actually happening. It was so wonderful.
That's fun.
So it got me thinking a little bit about it.
Sure, maybe dipping the proverbial toe back into the rowing world, possibly.
Right. But I love open water swimming now, and I have gone swimming in the Willamette.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. Notice how I circumvented using the past tense of swim.
Yes, swam. Swimming.
So I went swimming once in the Willamette last summer, and I love that.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So. We were I run with Portland Running Company as my running team, and in the summer. That little dock that's just what was that on the just past the Hawthorne
south
Bridge?
of the Hawthorne.
Yes,
That's where my rowing club went out.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Thursday nights, go down there at the end of the run, jump in, come out. It's very refreshing. It's lovely. It's lovely. Yeah. So you've done 13 marathons now. So when you decided you're a runner, not a rower, or both. When did you decide to become or do your first marathon? Was that pretty early in that journey, or were you smart and did a 5K, 10K, half marathon, couple half marathons, and then a marathon?
No. Because that's definitely the progression that another mother runner and Train Like a Mother club prescribed to.
Right.
Yeah. So, or ascribed to.
Right.
So I was not much of a racer when I lived in San Francisco. I mean, I think the U.S.'s most beautiful city. I, for some reason, didn't race. I just loved running in different places there, and maybe I was a cheapskate. I think let's call it what it was. I was a cheapskate.
It's expensive.
So I didn't need at the time. I didn't need any added impetus. Like I would just want to go outside and run because I was in San Francisco and I was young. And so then I didn't do my first marathon until I was actually living temporarily with the man who's now my husband in Chicago. And
Jack?
Jack, look at that. Oh,
Not
my
John?
gosh. No, he's a Jack John.
That's right. That's
yeah,
what it
he's
is.
a John
Okay.
Jack. Yeah.
John Jack. Okay.
Versus my son, who is a John. Yeah.
Right.
Versus
Okay.
my first husband, who's also a John.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So just parenthetically, I was, during my research, and I found that article in Runner's World where you did that whole thing, and I vaguely remember reading that years ago when it first came out, because the jock thing. Are you a John? Are you a Jack or a John or Jock or something? Isn't that like one little sidebar in that article?
Well, it definitely is that. Like whether it was confusing enough that I was. Yes.
So anyway, I was like, I remember reading this. So
You're like,
who knows? 10 years later or whatever it's been.
Yeah, we connect.
Here we are. Sorry, go on. I interrupted you.
No. So, now I totally lost my train of thought.
Sorry,
okay. So no, I went to live temporarily in Chicago with Jack John, John Jack.
John.
And,
husband. Let's just call him husband.
Yeah. And so I missed San Francisco, and so I thought, if I trained for the San Francisco Marathon, that would be an excuse for going back to San Francisco.
You have to go back then.
Right. So, and I owned my place in San Francisco, so. Okay. And had somebody subletting or whatever, and so trained in Chicago for the San Francisco Marathon.
Not the best.
Not the best strategy.
Yeah.
So did that, and also I sort of wanted to. I was away from my friends. I was, in the throes of love, and gosh, I got really skinny when I trained for that. And I think it was definitely not the marathon training. It was being in love. And falling in love. Because, of course, I'm still madly in love.
Of course. How long have you guys been married?
Too long? No. I didn't say.
I can't remember.
It'll be 17 years this summer.
Oh, okay.
So.
Congratulations.
Oh, and so. So anyway, so it was nice to have something that I had to do.
Sure.
And to explore Chicago. I mean, Chicago is such a fabulous place for
It's
running.
amazing, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so that was fun, and swore I would never do another marathon after that
don't
one.
we all?
Oh my goodness! I had this friend who we had taken. Her name's Bevan. Bevan and I had both been trying to get pregnant at the same time. And gosh, this is oversharing. And
isn't that what you guys are all about?
Right, it is. It's TMI Tuesday. It's TMI Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. Yeah.
So
I will not be TMI Tuesdaying. But anyway, go on.
So Bevan and I were both trying to get pregnant with our respective partners,
Sure.
and
That's good. Glad you clarified that.
Right. So then.
We're going to be kind of
Yeah,
all
this
over
is
here.
right.
Yeah, this
Bevan,
is good.
John, Jack.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Do we need a flow chart?
Yeah.
Let's go. And
Post-it note.
So anyway, so she got pregnant a couple weeks ahead of me, and so then she also, though, that was the backstory of that, and she also ran her first marathon about a month before I did. And so I had called Bevan's because, we'd been through the trials and tribulations of being pregnant, having, giving birth, newborns, the whole bit. And so she taught me how to sleep train my older daughter. And so I called her, the afternoon after she'd done the marathon. And I was like, oh, so tell me, be honest. Don't leave any details out. And so she made it sound not so bad, knowing that I was just about, a month out of mine.
Sure.
And boy, the afternoon after I ran my marathon, I called her. I was like, why didn't you tell me?
Liar.
I'm in agony.
Yeah, I have a and this isn't original, but I think you have to completely forget your previous marathon experience before doing another one.
Right.
Your brain could not handle it if you remembered, right?
Oh, I know. I gotta say though, I love training for a marathon, but there marathons that I have loved doing are few and far between out of the 13.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd probably agree with you there.
Yeah.
So while we're on the topic of marathon training, you are running the Twin Cities Marathon.
I am.
Which is a race that is near and dear to my heart. It is, I think it. So I've done 7 marathons. I've done that one 4 times, and I believe it holds my PR and my whatever the opposite of a PR is, the worst and the best. So there in that race. But the reason we're talking about that, obviously, because Minneapolis running, the connection, but it is one of your key, what do you call it?
The target races in the Train Like a Mother Club.
Train Like a Mother Club. So what I want to do is to kind of sort of transition to this section. What is another mother runner? Like philosophically, just kind of big picture. We talked about the website, the podcast, all that stuff. But what is it from a very high level philosophical standpoint? Is it just moms who run? It seems like it's a lot more than that.
It is a community that supports, encourages, inspires, motivates, and gives a gentle push out the door to women runners. I mean, we have a few token males, such as now yourself.
Sure, I'm another father runner.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, at our very core, we are a community, and that's what we started out as doing, and Dimity is also a journalist by trade, and we didn't set out to build a brand or a business, and it just grew up around our first book, Run Like a Mother, which came out in 2010. And we just realized that there was this amazing community of women runners that really at that point hadn't been solidified, if a community can be solidified. And so that our publisher said, hey, you gotta, if you put out a book, you gotta launch a Facebook page and be on Twitter. And we're like, oh, Twitter, oh. And so, so we just spoke to them in a very authentic, candid, we like to think witty, insightful voice.
I think so. Yeah.
Thanks. And and it just grew from there. And I mean, pretty much everything we do is about growing and building that community and supporting that community.
So you never intended to do that
when
you had the book or the article, like stuff in Runner's World, and the books came out and all that is. Sort of just happened.
Well, it's sort of interesting. The same way that I was a runner but didn't really realize that I was a runner, not a rower. And it's the same way that there was one day about maybe a year and a half into doing Another Mother Runner that I'm like, hey, Another Mother Runner is my full-time job and freelancing is my side gig. And that was a big epiphany for me. And so now, now the freelance is out the window and Another Mother Runner is my more than full-time job. and which I love.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of that reflection and figuring out what it is I am and what the business is. And yeah, and I mean, we just keep adding other roads, other branches of the Another Mother Runner tribe. So like the Train Like a Mother Club, which we launched. We had precursors to the programs in 2014, 2015, but it was last year that we launched its own site, trainlikeamother.club, and really, organized it, put it all in one place, and now it's just exploding.
Yeah.
It's our biggest. If AMR is a tree, then it's the biggest branch on the tree.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, we have everything from a 5K all the way up to ultra marathons. We have mental toughness training programs. We have Simply Nourished Like a Mother. We have 3 distances of triathlon training programs.
Wow.
Yeah.
And are you writing plans? Do you have
we have a couple coaches
that are working with that?
And Dimity, which Train Like a Mother Club is her baby. And she is a RRCA, is that it?
Road Runners Club of America.
Yes, certified coach, but she oversees the coaches. And we have, our ultra coach, I have to brag on her for a minute, is, might mess up her name, Stephanie Violet Howe. And she won, I want to say Western States. She's an ultra marathoner in Bend.
What's her name?
You need Stephanie, Stephanie Violet, like the flower. How? Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
So look at you on Facebook Live and Google it.
Yeah, I'm everywhere. I got twins.
You got 2 hands. Use them both,
exactly.
son.
I'm getting really good at feeding them both at the same time.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there she is. Very cool.
Yeah.
Nutrition, Luck of the Irish.
Huh?
I don't know what that means. It's the latest blog post. Anyway, that's gonna be too distracting.
The Train Like a Mother Club. So we have these target races throughout the year,
right?
And because so much of Another Mother Runner is online, but there are pockets of being able to connect with people in real life. Whether it's when I, go to Ogden Marathon this weekend, or when I was, in Eugene 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Right.
But also that we have done Ragnar races together. We've put together Ragnar teams, or we have our annual retreat once a year. But also, so then we have these target races for the Train Like a Mother Club. So instead of Train Like a Mother Club, let's say you were going to do, let's say your wife, was going to do.
Could I do it if I wanted to?
You could. We could. We do have actually a Train Like a Father Facebook page, because when you're in the Train Like a Mother Club, you get private Facebook page. And it's not as active though as the other page. Yeah. So look at it. It's getting really sunny out.
I know,
there's hardly any clouds in the sky.
This is not even the same place we were 40 minutes ago.
Right. So let's say you were going to do a different race. Let's say you were going to do wine glass or something. Okay. So you'd figure out that let's say that's also October 1st. Okay. And so you would join.
Which is in the Twin Cities Marathon.
Right. It is. So you would, but you don't have the money to travel Twin Cities. So you live outside of Albany, and you're going to go to the race in Corning. So you would join. You'd pay to join Train Like a Mother Club, and then you would know which wave you were going to be in. And so that would be when your training would start.
Gotcha.
So I believe training for that starts, for the marathon, it would start Memorial Day. Okay. And so then you would go to Wine Glass, and maybe you would have connected with a couple other people in the Facebook page, and maybe you'd be able to oh, hey Jill, hey Julie, let's meet up at the expo or whatever. But if you were doing Twin Cities, we have that's a target race, so meaning there's a lot more emphasis on that. We're really trying to get a critical mass of women runners who are doing that. So at Twin Cities,
from all over the country, not just the Twin Cities.
Exactly.
Not just
so
Minnesota.
if you're doing Twin Cities Marathon and you live in
Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, Portland, Oregon. Say, for instance,
just a random example.
Right. So no, that's unrealistic.
Who would do that?
So we're going to have at Twin Cities and at when we have other target races, we have a shakeout run the morning before. And then we have a party in the afternoon because we don't want to infringe on people's dinners, their carb loading, their ability to go sleep.
It's a precisionally tuned, finely tuned part of the marathon experience.
Yes, and the fact that we like to go to bed early. So the typically the party is kind of from 2 to 4:30. We have our coaches there. We have swag bags from our partners.
Awesome.
So you get Noon, Goo, Belega socks, bunch of really true goodies in your bag.
That's great.
And then, gosh, do we have any other special? And then, oftentimes Dimity's out there on the course. And there's sign making
Cheering
at the
and
party.
Okay.
And so
do people make their own signs that they want others to hold for them? Or
that's an interesting question. I've actually never been to a sign making party for another mother runner.
Okay, well,
so
you're slacking here,
Sarah. Here,
yeah,
Nathan, make this sign for me. Hold it at mile 12. No, I like blue better. Yeah. Blue.
Just don't say worst parade ever, and that's a good sign.
Have you peed your capris yet?
Yeah. So why did you choose Twin Cities? The Twin Cities Marathon. Why? What was it about
rocks.
that? It does rock.
Because, so I'd like to point out that so it'll be marathon number 14 for me, and it is the only marathon that I will have repeated other than Boston.
And is that a?
And I'll get back to your other question later.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm curious if that's like you don't want to repeat marathons because you want to experience them all.
I do.
Or as many.
Yeah, because I like diversity,
sure.
and which sounds like, gosh, I sound like a human resources person, don't I? So I
manual page right, 74, right. Section B. Yeah.
So no, I like it's just one of my mottos in life is I like a different taste in every bite. So
you're the kind of person that goes to a restaurant and never orders the same thing. Maybe you wouldn't even go to the same restaurant twice then.
So I've only been to Migration once.
Yeah, there you go.
I like it. There's only so many marathons in these legs, I think.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of ones that I want to do in terms of an enjoyment or wanting to see a certain place.
Sure.
And so and also I don't know, it's an odd bragging right I like to have. And so Twin Cities, though, so beautiful.
Well, it is the most beautiful urban marathon.
Most beautiful urban
in
marathon.
America.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. What a great tagline there, Nathan.
I think it's already copyrighted. Yeah. So. Maybe I have to pay them since I just said that.
Right, exactly. Cha-ching.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing my running partner Molly with me.
Okay.
And so I want her to experience the beauty. And I mean, the reason I originally ran Twin Cities was I had. And I think I've told you this story before, but I'll
it's okay.
Tell. There's other people listening.
Have not heard it.
Yeah, or they might have on the podcast.
Yeah, but that's okay.
So that I was deprived of ever visiting the Twin Cities until I was a master's age runner.
Okay. So it's last week you were there. Go on.
So So I went there and just fell in love with the place. Just fell in love, and it was like
must not have been January that you were there.
It was the spring.
Okay.
And it's kind of like the way I felt after I read Lolita for the first time as an adult, and I just felt I felt like, why had no one ever told me what a fabulous novel this is?
Sure.
Lolita, Twin Cities. You say them oftentimes in the same breath.
The same.
Yeah.
Cut from the same cloth.
Right. So I but I did. I felt like, why did no one take me by the shoulders and say, you must visit the Twin Cities? It's such an awesome place. And so
it really is.
So, and I mean, we didn't even have great weather when we were there. We were there for a race expo, and it was chilly. And, I remember it being kind of rainy at one point, but I just thought it was paradise. I mean, I love architecture, so beautiful, and I love historic homes. So I just already was, and the natural beauty with the Mississippi River running through it. And I mean, my gosh, what's the Mississippi doing all the way up there in Minnesota?
Exactly.
How is it great?
It's small up there, but
it's smaller. Yeah. And my dad's from the south, so the Mississippi River figures largely in my life.
Sure.
The first time we ever drove across it was during a drought, as my father would say.
A drought.
Okay. And I'm like, that's it? And he's like, oh, it's because we haven't had rain in months.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the friend Joe, the one I mentioned early on, is driving me up Summit, and I'm like, this is Summit Avenue, and I'm like, this is just gorgeous. I'm getting whiplash from turning my head to look at all the beautiful historic homes.
It's pretty amazing.
And she said, well, if you run the Twin Cities Marathon, you get to run up this. And I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. I'm coming back. So, because the other way that I have schemed to go back to the Twin Cities with some regularity, other than running 26.2, is to send one of my kids to college.
Oh, there you go.
Because they have great colleges in the greater Twin Cities area.
Some of the best, yes.
Yeah.
I used to work at one for over a decade, so
nice. Okay,
I can give you some recommendations.
We
can have another live chat where we just talk about kids' college. Right.
So I thought, so it's an excuse to go back and just, I mean, the support. I mean, there's, I mean, a lot of marathons don't have great crowd support.
Right. Or they do in little pockets.
Oh, exactly. Here in Portland, it's like, oh, okay, Willamette Boulevard. Oh, there's a whole bunch of people there. But for previous 20 miles, it was, empty bowling alley.
Yeah.
So anyway, just the sincere crowd support. I mean, people having parties in their front yard and cheering and knowing what to say, and you don't even need to tell them what to write on their signs because they know already.
Well-educated spectators.
Exactly. And I mean, last year I was there. We sell at the Marathon Expo.
Oh, okay.
And and I was not signed up to run, and so I went running by myself, and it was very pretty, but I'm like, I want to go on the real pretty parts. I want to go on the course.
Where did you run when you were there?
I ran out to some nature preserve. I ran along the river. And
in St. Paul?
I was in St. Paul. I was staying at the, I was pretty near the convention center, near the riverfront center.
Oh, okay. It's probably down like Fort Snelling-ish area maybe, or...
something. I mean, it was definitely, the trail went in, and there were a couple little I was about to say there were lakes near there, but that sounds stupid. They were very small and almost, they were barely above a swamp.
Okay.
I don't know if that gives you...
There's a lot of those.
I remember what podcast I was listening to. So
there you go.
But I don't exactly know where I was.
But I was that's okay.
I was so disappointed that I wasn't able to experience the course, but there was no way I could finagle it and get back in time to check out on time and everything. So I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm doing it again. Yeah. So
very cool.
I'm gonna repeat.
Well, it is a fantastic. Like I said, it's easily one of my favorite. Well, I've done that one 4 times, then 3 other ones, so it's, I don't have a lot to draw from, but it is amazing and beautiful. And I think when you live there, you take it for granted. Just because it is so beautiful. I mean, the lakes, Lake Calhoun and Lake of the Isles and Lake Harriet, that's, for me, it was just a regular
run.
Part of my run. And so then when you're doing a race on that part, there's a certain familiarity to it that I think you perhaps take for granted a little bit. But, being away for a while, and like I have, and going back, I ran it in 2014, the year after we had moved. I specifically went back to run that, which is where I PR'd and BQ'd there. And it's just amazing. Like, it was funny you're talking about Summit because that's the worst part of the course.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's up that hill. You're coming to the finish. It's, mile 20-something to the end. But if you're not super focused on your race, you can sit back and enjoy it a little bit.
But it's a gradual climb. I mean, I don't even think of it as a hill so much as a gradual climb. I've been trying to find hills around here that kind of replicate it. And I sort of feel that Cooch, which is the street a couple over, Cooch up into, which I'm not mispronouncing that, folks. It looks like couch, but it's Cooch. From basically the Whole Foods up into Laurelhurst. I know that's a 5% grade because I one time did a workout repeatedly up it where I was supposed to be doing it up at 2% grade, and oops.
little too.
Yeah, or coming up from the Columbia River into Northeast, so it's a gradual climb to get from the Columbia up into like Alameda Ridge for all the locals who want to know these things.
Yes, taking notes on that.
Yeah. So
interesting. It's amazing. All right, so what are you guys doing then over that the whole weekend and from the what's it called? Mother Runner Trainer Group? No.
Oh, it's a Train Like a Mother Club.
Train Like a Mother. Thank you.
Yeah. So we just throw mother out there. It'll be sort of right.
Running mom, mother.
Yeah. So we will have so we'll be at the expo. We'll be selling in limited edition merchandise, which sold like hotcakes last year, and we coming up with a new design this year that I just adore.
Very fancy.
So have a booth there, and then. I mean, I'll be kind of tied to the booth, so I don't get to do... Again, I don't think I'll get to be at the sign. Although that would be good. I'd get to get off my legs.
Yes.
So maybe
make a sign.
Maybe I, insist that I get to do that this year.
And is this going to be like a target race for you in the sense of like, are you going to train hardcore and try to hit some time, or are you just going to go and enjoy the scenery? And
I've been debating that. Molly and I, my running partner and I, have been debating that. I think enjoying the scenery is the name of the game.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to selfie stick with you then and just like keep clicking everywhere.
Right. So maybe I'll Facebook Live it as I go up Summit.
There you go.
So because I was sort of thinking like, maybe I want to try to hit not an aggressive time goal, but just a time goal itself. And I thought, no, I really want to enjoy it. I mean, if the weather's lousy, I'll maybe push it a little just to get it done. But I mean, if it's been like it has the past couple years, I just want to be out there and soak it all in.
As long as possible. Well,
maybe,
I think 6 hours
is there's a fine line between enjoying and being out there for too long. But I mean, when it's sunny, it's like running through a stained glass like museum or something, because the leaves and the sunlight and the way it dapples and shines off the oranges and reds and yellows. I love nature, and so it's just beautiful. And the water, and I don't know, it really in my mind it's almost like it is like stained glass. And there wasn't any. I don't remember too many specifics. It would all just like
blend
refracted
together.
Autumnal colors.
Well, my favorite part of the whole course, and I can write this down for you so you can go back, is going over the Franklin Bridge, coming from, I think I'm getting West River to East River. It's kind of the point where you cross over into St. Paul, or a little bit before that. But you come over the bridge, and if you look to your right, it's the river and just all of the fall colors going down. Like you said, the sun, I think, is still at the right point then. And it's just like, every time I've done it, I just even now I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It's like this emotional experience. And I think because it comes, it's about 18, 19 right there, when you're like, just need something like that. It's just, it's incredible. It just carries you on. And then, of course, you get over to the big 20-mile wall thing, and you're like, I want more of that over there.
But then you get to look at the houses on Summit.
Yes, exactly. Then you have that to look forward to, and then the next thing, and the next thing. So,
right. And then, and it's such a spectacular finish line going down to the Capitol. And
the whole thing is just amazing.
Yeah, and the cathedral. I mean, because we also, in Portland, we don't have big buildings like that.
Right.
So there's a part of me that, and I grew up in the New York City area. So, like, I know from big buildings. Sure. But still, there's a real thrill to see a cathedral. I mean, it's like so European and like grand.
There,
I mean, we just don't have any grand buildings here in Portland.
No, Portland's very small in comparison, or short, I guess. Is the term. Yeah. So, how do people, if they want to get involved or they want to join the team, how do they sign up? Just go to the website.
Go to trainlikeamother.club.
Club.
Yes, that's the super cool, suffix. So trainlikeamother.club. And you go to training programs, and there's a drop-down menu, and you go to marathons, and I mean, so we have traditional training.
Add this to the chat here.
Very
so
good.
If you guys are watching, just click on that link I just shared.
Thank you. And there's traditional training, and we also do something that we really feel is unique on the entire interweb, which is heart rate training. And so we have Coach M.K. Fleming, who is adored, hashtag coached and loved. And so that, really because we believe in, really being in this running thing for the long haul.
Sure.
And it's not about one race. It's not about one run. It's about being able to do it when you're Masters age runner, or when you're Super Masters, which for the record, I'm not there yet. And so that
what does that start?
Super Masters, I think it's 60, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe someone could chime in if they know what a Super Masters is. Other than like a funky, fresh, hip hop band. I don't know.
Right. Sure.
So but you want to stay injury free, or try as injury free as possible, and you don't want to be sidelined. You want to keep doing it. So heart rate training really lets you do that, because you are, as taking your intensity down. Because so many people go out and go too hard, go too fast, do too many hard workouts back to back. And with heart rate training, it really teaches you how to be able to literally go the distance.
Well, and what I found is that, or you might find is that you're doing too many runs. Too many of your runs are too fast. Like, you should be doing a lot more slower runs, and that's what elites do. Is they're actually on their slow days, they're a lot slower than you might think.
Exactly. And it seemed because if you're a new runner, which so many other runners happen to be, maybe they're taking it up after a hiatus. Maybe they did it in high school, and then they do it again after they've had their babies or whatever. And so, or you've just taken it up for your 40th birthday or something like that. And so you can think, oh, I'm doing this wrong, or I'm so much slower than everybody else I see, on my block or in the park or whatever. And heart rate training gives you the permission and insists really that you go slower, and that I've talked to people who say it's hard because they know they can go faster, but they're doing their body good to keep it that slower pace.
I love what you said about training for the long haul, or not thinking about just today, but how do you run for a lifetime? I mean, that's, I think, one of the reasons we all love running is because you can do it into your, 60s, 70s, 80s. There's, I don't know if you're familiar with the Twin Cities Charter Club.
Oh, no.
So it's, I don't remember what the number is at now, but it's the folks who have done all 35 or 36 Twin Cities Marathon. I'm blanking on the ages, but I think the youngest person is in her 60s, and the oldest, Fast Eddie, is much older than that. And so I've talked with a number of them, and they've just kind of talked about that as, it's just being consistent over time.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, transition a little bit, is what does it take, and we talked a little bit, to be a successful runner? And you can define success however you want. And I think specifically, I'm curious, like a couple of tips, a couple of tricks, a couple of pieces of your wisdom, your advice. Like, how do you be a successful runner? What does that mean? How do you define it, maybe, is a good place to start?
I think finding enjoyment in it. And finding whatever enjoyment is, whether that means reveling in the fact that you're out of your house and no one's tugging at your leg, or nobody needs a diaper change, hopefully not.
Right. Change their own diapers right now.
Right. Stop in a porta potty. And or whether it's, I finally get to listen to my own music. I get to listen to a podcast without having to stop it every 5 minutes because somebody walks into the kitchen.
Sure.
Or because I'm with my best running friend, which is like a happy hour turned on its head. It's at 6 a.m. instead of 6 p.m.
Right.
And because at 6 p.m. you don't get the discounts. You don't get the discounts
on
the food. So what's the point?
Exactly.
So, or whether it's, for me, it's being outdoors.
Sure.
And even, this morning it was still kind of raining then, and not a super pretty morning yet. But I still love being out there because it makes me feel alive. And so it's not only finding what makes you happy, but also recognizing that it's making you happy.
Sure.
Because too often times running, particularly if you're training for a race, can feel like a chore. It feels like something you have to do instead of something you get to do. And we really
have to do versus get to do. I like that.
Yeah. We'll put on bumper sticker maybe for
there
you.
Go.
Yeah,
Sure,
okay.
sure.
Yeah, a magnet. How about that?
Yeah, window peel. Something.
Right. Sure. So it's reminding yourself of that, and also
how do you remind yourself of that? Or are you so zen-like in your?
Oh yeah,
That
totally.
it's just, I don't have to remember.
Well. I love my best running friend with all my heart. I just love Molly to pieces. Yeah. So I oftentimes on a run will just say out loud, like she'll say something that just cracks the heck out of me, or that she has such insight, and I will tell her. I'll just say, Molly, I love you so much.
Cool.
And it's nice because how often do you tell someone, other than your partner or your kids or your immediate family members, how often do you tell somebody that you love them? And it's easier because I'm not looking at her. I'm not sitting across a table from her and looking into her eyes.
It's disarming to have a deep conversation or a connection with someone when you're running this way.
Yeah. So and there's a certain a tiny bit of flippancy when I say it, but I mean it with all sincerity. And so to me, saying things out loud. And I do it in races too. Like if I'm in a rough spot, I figure other people around me probably are in a rough spot. So I'll sometimes be the freak show who will say out loud, like there's I was in Portland Marathon, which has one significant hill right around mile 18 going up to the St. John's Bridge. And so I felt like I was having a tough time, and the people around me were kind of struggling a little bit. So I'm like, let's crush this hill. Let's take some names. And people looked like, what does she possibly mean? What does taking names mean? It's right here on my bib. Just take it. Just take it. There you go. So it's, or if I see someone, like let's say in a race, let's say doing a 10K, and I've been following somebody, the chick in the pink tank top, and that she's been like
there's always someone in a tutu for me.
I like that they're ahead of you.
Yes. Yes. I have been beaten by more tutus, and I'm fine with that. But
we used to have a shirt that's, gosh, what did it say? I wish somebody would chime in. What did it say? Fear the tutu? Someone needs to write in. What did it was because when we ran Ragnar relays, we always wore a tutu because then we're able to spot team members, because you're kind of, even in the dark, you kind of look like a little lampshade. By
the way, so Phoebe just chimed in. Phoebe
Van Scoy Geisler.
Yes.
Yeah, please. I know from Phoebe.
Okay, so some big races have a Masters champ, then a Grandmasters for over 50.
Okay,
and
over 50.
Senior Grandmasters is over 60.
Oh, so. Dang. Okay, well, I'm not going to admit which category I fall into there. Yeah.
Anyway,
so
sorry.
Thank you, Phoebe. Saying things out loud.
Yes.
Saying things out loud. So saying things out loud can motivate you during a race, can get you at a tough spot during a long training run or just a hard training run. And it can also remind you out loud, say out loud. It's, nobody can really hear you, or maybe they think you're talking on Bluetooth. Yeah. So maybe you're having a phone conversation and just say out loud, oh, it's so beautiful today. Yeah. Or oh, I love this song. Like Sia rocks, whatever it is. Betty Who, love her.
Betty Who.
Yeah. So
Betty Lou Who.
No. So to, just say it out loud. And because, it's a reminder. And or write it on your hand or whatever it is. Write it on a piece of tape and pop it on your hand. So that's one thing so reminding yourself that there's enjoyment to it, that you're not being forced to do this. Because if you are being forced to do this, if you're having to force yourself every day, find something else to do.
Yeah.
Hop on a bike, go in the pool, go to Zumba class.
Start rowing.
It's such an easy sport to take up. Do strength training, whatever it is. Take a break until you miss it and then come back to it.
Yes.
And you'll probably do your body good by taking a little time off. So the question is what to do to make sure you're a long-time runner. I think you've defined, success as a runner. Oh, success, sure.
And I think that's, you've hit the nail on the head of, like, you have to enjoy it. Like, if you're going to succeed at this, you have to enjoy it. I doubt many people who are setting PRs, whatever that is, if that's, breaking 5 hours or 3 hours, are able to do it if they're not enjoying it.
Right,
because it's just so difficult.
Right. So, and also, adding new things to bring success and enjoyment to it. So if you feel like, another 5K, well, it's time to step up to a 10K.
Sure.
Or maybe like, if marathon training is just grinding you down, well, then the half marathon is a beautiful race. You can, still enjoy brunch afterwards.
Yeah.
So,
and run the next day if you want.
Right. Or not blow your whole weekend that you've flown to, Chicago to do or Cape Cod to do.
Minneapolis.
You can still enjoy. It's a 10-miler. It's a 10-miler.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
That's why we didn't sell too many 13.1 sweatshirts that weekend.
Yeah.
Duh.
There's no half marathon at the Twin Cities Marathon.
I'm not going to make that mistake twice.
Smart.
Yeah. So, and how to, success. What else? I don't know. Share it with your family. Talk it up to your family. Talk it up to your friends. Let other people share in your enjoyment and your success. And be proud of what you're doing. Because, certainly sitting here, I know that you're faster than I am, but it doesn't mean that, it doesn't negate that I did a good job this morning climbing the hill, that Molly and I went up or whatever. So that everybody's measure of success is different, and don't measure it against, some young dude who, has 11 months olds. I got 11-year-olds. Life's different.
Right.
So,
life is different.
Right. So, and you have a little more testosterone, hopefully, than I do.
Hopefully.
So, hopefully for both of us.
Hopefully. Let's see.
Otherwise, I can grow that beard that I need.
Exactly. Well, I can't grow beard, so maybe that's.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Well, I love what you said about that, especially the so for me, I've kind of been pursuing this Boston goal for years, and I did it, but I qualified, but not by enough. Yeah, it's just hard, 30 seconds. And we won't go into that whole long story, but I've tried 2 more times, missed it. And then, when the twins were born, I had basically promised my wife I was going to take a bunch of time off because,
because there's 2 of them.
Because there's 2 of them, and a third one who's older, and apparently kids need your attention. I don't know why. But I realized now that I was really burnt out, and so for me to kind of rekindle that joy, that love of it, I just really I never stopped running, but I stopped racing. Or I would still go to races, and it was more just for the fun of that, and I would just kind of show up and be like, what are you running? What time are you running? And just kind of see what I could do, not really caring. And it kind of created this whole new sense of like, this is really fun. And then it became more about going to brunch with the team after the race and like, where are we going to get pancakes this week? And so it was about a year of that. And I feel like now I'm finally at the point where like, okay, I think I'm ready to do this again. But yeah, if you don't have that sense of like, why am I doing this? Why is this fun? Then it's pointless.
Right. So because I don't race all that often.
Okay.
And so I ran Boston a year ago, April, and then I had some speed honed from there. And so I tried to set a 10K PR and or set a time goal for 10K PR. Had a good race up at the Twilight series up at
a good friend of mine ran that last
Vancouver
year.
Lake. Yeah. So in the Portland area where you can run a race in the summer and actually expect decent weather.
Yes.
Crazy decent racing weather. Yeah. So, but I haven't done a race since then.
Okay.
And I don't, I was offered a bib, to run Ogden this weekend. I'm like, no, I want to come back and do the Irvington home tour. So it's my favorite day in Portland of the entire year. And I don't mean
Irvington.
I don't mean that sarcastically. It is my favorite day of the year. So priorities.
Yes.
Architect goes back to
I was just going to say, bring back to the architecture of the Twin Cities. There you go.
Yeah. So Twin Cities Marathon might be my first race since July of 2016. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a tune-up half. I don't know.
Maybe something in there in between, or
we'll see what comes along. But I'm not fretting about it.
Okay.
So, and I and enjoying runs, and I know I'm looking forward to training, so that's important.
Yeah.
So and I'm going to be.
That's actually really important.
Right.
That's a huge point. Like
it's really important.
If you're dreading the training, you're probably not going to have a good
right.
race.
And so I'm excited because it'll be the first time that I'll be in a Train Like a Mother Club program. So
okay.
Molly and I are going to join that program and do the traditional training, and there's 2 levels of it, and one is the finish it, and one is, I believe, called the crush it. And Molly's convinced me
So
to
finish is just like, I'm going to get to the finish line.
With
Crush
a smile
it
on my face. Crush it is, be focused more on honing speed.
Yes, okay.
And so we're not so much about honing speed, but Molly really wants to do it because it includes 3 20-milers. And she feels that in the past, when we followed a training program from my former coach, she felt that there weren't enough long runs.
Okay.
And because I was coming off a really debilitating injury, I fractured my ankle in 4 places 2 years ago, and have some hardware in my leg.
Ouch.
Yeah.
How'd you do that? Running?
Going down a slide. Yeah.
Was it that one at Grant Park?
No, that one's actually probably bigger. In my mind, the one I went down was huge. It's the one in Spokane, Washington.
Oh, okay.
It was wet. I was wearing capris. It was all for a photo, and there is photographic evidence of it. Oh, there is. Yeah.
Wins.
Jack has.
Oh.
I've never seen it.
Okay.
So anyway, so we're going to do 3 20-milers.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah. And hopefully it's cold. We'll have a cold summer like we had a cold spring.
Yeah. Cold winter. Cold.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Winter is coming.
It's still beautiful.
Like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly. Watch out for the White Walkers. And that's fun. Well, Sarah, thank you so much. I feel like I could sit here and talk to you forever.
I could too. Should we see if there's a couple?
But this is so I'm looking through the comments here. Someone asked, and it's already scrolled through, about the ambassador program, or if there was one, or
so we are talking about starting an ambassador program because we call people in the Another Mother Runner tribe, oftentimes they call themselves, or we call them BAMers, which stands for Badass Mother Runner.
Yeah, that's
very good.
Cool.
Very good. And so very avid BAMers, one might say. We might tap maybe, 12 to 15 of them around the country and probably Canada to kind of proselytize, if you will, spread the word of Another Mother Runner, and possibly also host gatherings, and so we're still sort of formulating that and seeing where that goes. So we don't. Nothing's in the works. There's some preliminary research into it. Yeah. So I mean, so many running brands do have ambassadors. There's Noon ambassadors, and the Oiselle, Voilet, and those sort of things.
A lot of ambassador programs out there, which is a great way to get the brand out there and get people are passionate about it. Which just other comments. Everyone loves you. Everyone loves. Growing so much. Thanks. Where's the other one go? So excited for you to come to TCM. Another Mother Runner. This is from Heather Jurgensen, I believe. Another Mother Runner has inspired me from the very beginning of my run journey. Love these ladies and the friends that I've made.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that is. It's amazing to me, the friendships that are formed, because I was talking before about how we're. And tell me if you want to cut this short, because I could just keep talking.
Hey, let's go.
So that so much of what we do and so much of our lives these days in general, not outside of the Another Mother Runner community, are it's lived online, and so to be able to make connections in person. Yes. And so we had women who went to our 2nd annual retreat last year in Spokane. They just got together in Utah to do a Ragnar trail race over the weekend.
Okay. That was another question about Ragnar on here.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So that it was just so thrilling to me, and I didn't know ahead of time. I am negligent in paying enough attention to sometimes all the different Facebook pages we have, and so when I saw those pictures, I was so thrilled that these people from just all over the country had convened in Utah, and to feel that Dimity and I played some little tiny part in that feels really fulfilling and impactful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and women from our Ragnar team or our first retreat have met up at races in Austin, or they'll go visit each other, and so it just is so nice to see real, true friendships in person form.
Right. It's funny that there's so many people that I've through Minneapolis running, who I've gotten to know as, a little square.
Right.
And then you meet in person for the first time, and you're like, oh, that's...
Look, you have a body.
Yeah, that's who you are.
Yeah.
Well, I just think it's really cool what you guys are doing, and
thanks.
it's so fun to see just the reach and how big it is and how empowering it is to not just women, to all kinds of people, but especially women and moms who maybe sometimes have a more difficult time kind of getting that support that they might need. So
Can I tell?
Very cool.
Can I tell one funny story that so there was this husband Chris who wanted to buy for his wife Nicole registration to our retreat, which is at the end of September in Spokane again. And so the weekend before Twin Cities. So that's going to be super fun to transition from being in the retreat for 4 days and then getting out there. At least I'll be tapering.
You don't have to do a long run.
So we are...
I'm going to find the retreat link.
Yeah, so anothermotherrunner.com/retreat. Thank you so much, Nathan.
You're welcome.
So Chris bought for his wife registration to the retreat, and there's very few spots left. So
click on that link right now.
Right. And so it was a surprise that he gave to her on Mother's Day, and Nicole emailed me on Monday because I needed to let her into the Facebook page, but she said that their youngest child, who's 18, he said, who is this serendipity? Are they like family friends that I've never met? Or are they like celebrities?
They've been talking about you so much, probably.
So it's just so funny that's
both.
Right. Thank you. So it's just so funny. And I was just like, nope, they're just two moms, doing their thing in front of the computer.
Yeah. It's so great how sometimes the things that we do at, midnight, when our, I should be in bed, whatever, then turns into something that people really value and find,
I know.
get a lot out of it. So it's fun to sort of see that in person when you can.
Yeah. So that story totally made my day yesterday.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, well, Sarah, thank you so much. Thank you for coming here to Migration, and we'll have to find time to run together, or
you'll have to slow down a little bit, maybe.
Well,
you got. But maybe if you run with me, you can knock those enough time off to qualify.
There you go. Exactly. But yeah, it's so great, and it was funny how close we live to each other in the grand scheme of the city.
Exactly. So a Minneapolis man in Portland. So
exactly.
Who knew?
So I love Portland, love Minneapolis, the Twin Cities. Although in January it's pretty hard to.
Well,
this year was
what swayed me was. I honestly, after that first visit, I not only was all set to sign up for the marathon, but I'm like, that's it, we're gonna move.
Right,
I'm self-employed, my husband's self-employed. We could do this. And then literally, I think it was Joe was driving me to the airport, and she said, "Oh, it's so funny. We call the mosquito the unofficial state bird." And I'm like, I'm out. Totally out.
Unofficial. I mean, you've got the loon, but then the mosquito is really the boss. I mean, come on, let's be honest.
Yeah, so no, that's not for me. Screen porch is not my thing.
Well, it's funny because when, we've been out here now this is our 4th year, and I still work for a small consulting for my real job. So I'm back and forth, not as much since the twins were born. But in the summertime, it's amazing. Here, you don't have to close your windows. It's not, bugs and mosquitoes aren't a big deal. But there, it's like, spray yourself with.
Oh yeah, no, I mean a lot of houses here don't have screens on the windows.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
You just don't need it really.
Right.
So
So yes, and I suffer from Raynaud, so my hands go white.
Okay.
So and even this
cold.
Even this morning I had to shake when I got out of the car. I had to shake my hand down because my middle finger was going white.
Oh.
So it looked like a candle. So I didn't think that was a good look. So
probably not. When you wanna...
So if it does that when it's low 50s in Portland, forget about Minnesota winters.
Yeah.
So but October 1st, I'm looking for some good weather. I'm looking for dry weather. Yeah. Can we work that out?
I will. Let me see. I know a few of the weather people there. Let me just see if they can. They can kind of spin whatever it is, however you do that. So Well, thanks so much again.
Thank you.
Appreciate meeting you.
This was lovely. Thank you.
Yes, this was wonderful. So, and thank you everyone for watching this. The links are in there if you would like to join another Mother Runner. Train like a mother. Right.
Yep. So that's the only thing that has that actually you have to join. Other than that, you can like our Facebook page, Another Mother Runner. I'm going to just spew some social media.
Spew away.
So on Instagram we're at the Mother Runner.
At the Mother Runner. Okay.
On Twitter, it's at the Mother Runner. If you feel like following me, I'm at SBS on the Run.
SBS on the Run.
At SBS on the Run, or at Dimity on the Run.
Okay.
Again, she's my even taller than me
co-founder.
Yeah. And Yeah, and we're Another Mother Runner on Facebook. So it's support, it's encouragement, it's a gentle kick out the door.
It's awesome, and you guys have a huge following on Facebook.
Oh yeah, thanks.
It's so fun.
And
It's
perhaps most importantly, listen to the Another Mother Runner podcast.
Yes, which I said this at the beginning, but if you're just joining us, it's awesome. There's a lot of great tips for non-mothers in there too. So
yeah, you said strength training, and we had
strength training and a nutrition person on there recently.
We have Melissa Clark from the New York Times, who was our most recent guest, talking about making dinner, which is a big concern for mothers.
Oh yeah.
And fathers.
Yeah.
Yep. And
I'm the dinner guy in our house. So
oh, nice.
I should go back and listen
Nathan,
to that.
what a Renaissance man.
It's 2017.
We're having Peter Sagal from Wait, Don't Tell Me. He's our Father's Day guest because we like to represent with the father on Father's Day.
Okay.
Yeah, and and we're having Virginia from
Brophy Ackman?
Yes.
She's great.
So she's our guest this week.
Okay. She's the director of Twin Cities in Motion.
Yes,
Yep.
so she's our guest this week along with Sarah Ratzliff, who's taken over some of the Zuma races. So it's about kind of an inside look at being a race director and because there's just so many details. I can't even...
It's a thankless job. They only talk to you if something's wrong usually.
Right.
Which with Twin Cities in Motion, there's rarely anything
nothing
wrong.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. So if it rains this year, they'll all complain because it's her fault.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Virginia, if you're watching this, you got to figure that out.
Right. Get on
about
it.
4 or 5 months to do that. Yeah.
Right.
So cool.
So good deal. Well, thank you so much. This was a blast.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Now I need to get a walk.
Okay. Yeah.
Get up, walk around.
So
you can kind of entertain everybody for the next 30 seconds here.
My shirt's totally cute from motherrunnerstore.com.